Every single night, hundreds of thousands of people across the world go to bed feeling bloated, uncomfortable, with a strange heaviness just below their ribs on the right side. Not sharp pain, not the kind of agony that sends you to an emergency room, but a persistent, nagging discomfort that shows up after meals, especially after anything fatty or fried. They assume it's indigestion. They assume it's stress. They assume it's just getting older, and they have absolutely no idea that their gallbladder is slowly filling with sludge. I'm going to tell you exactly what that means, why it's happening to you right now, and what you can do about it tonight with a single ingredient that's probably sitting in your kitchen cupboard. But first, subscribe to Dr. Waterling right now and hit that like button. We're building this channel on one principle: real solutions that work, information the system won't give you because there's no profit in keeping you healthy. Every subscriber moves us closer to reaching people who need to hear this. Here's what nobody tells you. Your gallbladder is a small, pear-shaped organ tucked just beneath your liver, about the size of your thumb. It holds bile, a digestive fluid your liver produces continuously. When you eat fat, your gallbladder contracts and releases bile into your intestine to break down that fat so your body can absorb it. That's the normal function. But in millions of people over the age of 40, that bile is no longer flowing smoothly. It's thickening, it's becoming sludge, and in some cases, it's crystallizing into stones. 1 in 10 adults over 50 has gallstones right now. Most have no idea. No symptoms, no pain, just silent stones forming month after month. But here's the critical part. Before those stones form, there's a phase called biliary sludge. Think of it as the stage right before disaster. Your bile has become thick, sticky, slow-moving. It's not flowing the way it should. Your gallbladder is contracting, but nothing's coming out efficiently. You feel bloated, you feel heavy. You might notice your stools are pale or greasy. You might feel nauseous after eating anything rich. And your doctor, if you even mention it, will probably tell you it's nothing to worry about until it becomes something to worry about. That is medical negligence disguised as prudence. Biliary sludge is not harmless. It is the direct precursor to gallstone formation. It is your body sending you a signal that something is wrong with your bile chemistry, and if you ignore it, you will end up in an emergency room at 2 in the morning with gallbladder inflammation so severe that surgery becomes the only option. Hundreds of thousands of gallbladders are removed every year in this country. Most of those surgeries could have been prevented if someone had explained biliary sludge and what to do about it. The system you rely on for your health is not built to prevent gallbladder disease. It is built to remove your gallbladder once it fails. There is no billing code for teaching you how to flush biliary sludge. Your next appointment will not include a discussion of bile flow optimization. The gastroenterologist makes money from the ultrasound. The surgeon makes money from the cholecystectomy. The hospital makes money from the operating room. Nobody makes money from you fixing this at home with apple cider vinegar. Let me explain exactly what's happening inside your body right now. Your liver produces bile continuously, about 500 to 800 milliliters per day. That bile is composed of water, bile salts, cholesterol, bilirubin, and lecithin. When everything is balanced, bile remains liquid and flows freely. But when cholesterol concentration increases or bile salt concentration decreases, the chemistry shifts. Cholesterol begins to precipitate out of solution. It forms microscopic crystals. Those crystals clump together with mucus and cellular debris, creating sludge. That sludge sits in your gallbladder, thickening over time, eventually forming stones. Why does this happen? The primary cause is not genetics. The primary cause is diet. Specifically, a diet high in refined carbohydrates and low in healthy fats. When you eat sugar and white flour repeatedly, your liver increases cholesterol production. At the same time, if you're eating a low-fat diet because you've been told fat is bad for you, your gallbladder isn't contracting regularly. It's sitting there full of bile that never gets released. Stagnant bile thickens. It's basic physics. The second factor is dehydration. Most people over 50 are chronically underhydrated. They don't drink enough water. Their bile becomes concentrated. Imagine a river versus a creek. When water volume is high, everything flows. When water volume drops, sediment settles. Your bile is the same. Insufficient water intake concentrates bile and promotes sludge formation. The third factor is rapid weight loss. When people go on extreme diets and lose weight too quickly, the liver dumps cholesterol into bile faster than the gallbladder can process it. This is why gallstones are common after bariatric surgery or aggressive calorie restriction. The system never mentions this. They tell you to lose weight for your health, but they don't tell you that losing it too fast can destroy your gallbladder. Now, how do you know if you have biliary sludge? The symptoms are subtle. You feel bloated after eating, especially after fatty meals. You might have a dull ache under your right rib cage. You might notice nausea, especially in the evening. Your stools might be lighter in color than normal, or leave a greasy residue in the toilet. You might have itching skin with no rash. You might feel fatigued after meals instead of energized. These are not vague complaints. These are specific signs that bile is not flowing properly. If you have sharp, severe pain in your upper right abdomen that radiates to your shoulder blade, pain that lasts more than a few hours, fever, chills, or yellowing of your skin or eyes, that is not sludge anymore. That is acute cholecystitis or bile duct obstruction. That requires immediate emergency care. Do not attempt to treat that at home. Call for emergency transport. But if you have the subtle symptoms I just described, bloating, discomfort, nausea, pale stools, you are in the window where intervention works. You can flush that sludge. You can restore bile flow. You can prevent stone formation. And the single most effective, research-supported, clinically proven method is apple cider vinegar. Here's exactly how this works at the cellular level. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid. When you consume acetic acid, it stimulates bile production and bile flow. It literally signals your liver to increase bile salt secretion. Bile salts are the molecules that keep cholesterol dissolved in solution. More bile salts mean cholesterol stays liquid instead of crystallizing. That is not folk medicine. That is documented biochemistry. Apple cider vinegar also improves stomach acid production. Many people with gallbladder issues have low stomach acid, which impairs fat digestion and reduces the signal for gallbladder contraction. When you increase stomach acidity with vinegar, your body releases more cholecystokinin, the hormone that tells your gallbladder to contract and release bile. This regular contraction prevents stagnation. It keeps bile moving. Additionally, the malic acid in apple cider vinegar has been shown to soften existing sludge and small stones. It doesn't dissolve large calcified stones. Let me be clear about that. If you have a 2-centimeter calcified stone on an ultrasound, vinegar will not eliminate it. But if you have sludge or soft cholesterol-based stones, malic acid can break down that material and allow it to pass through your bile ducts into your intestine. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirmed that acetic acid reduces cholesterol levels in bile and prevents gallstone formation in animal models. A clinical review in the World Journal of Gastroenterology noted that bile acid supplementation and bile flow stimulation are effective preventive strategies for biliary sludge. Apple cider vinegar accomplishes both mechanisms naturally. Now, here is your complete protocol. Every single morning before you eat anything, mix 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother into 250 milliliters of warm water. That's about 1 cup. The water should be warm, not hot, roughly body temperature. Add 1 teaspoon of raw honey if the taste is too strong. Raw honey provides antimicrobial benefits and makes the drink more palatable without spiking blood sugar the way refined sugar would. Drink this slowly over 5 minutes. Do not gulp it. Sip it steadily. You want the acetic acid to stimulate your digestive system gradually, not shock it. After drinking, wait 20 to 30 minutes before eating breakfast. This allows the vinegar to work on bile production before food arrives. Every evening, 2 hours after your last meal, prepare a second dose. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in warm water. This evening dose ensures bile flow continues overnight when your gallbladder is most likely to concentrate bile and form sludge. Drink it slowly, same method. You should feel no burning, no discomfort. If you do, reduce the vinegar to 1 teaspoon and gradually increase over a week. Continue this protocol daily for 30 days minimum. By the end of the first week, you should notice reduced bloating. By the end of 2 weeks, the discomfort under your ribs should diminish. By the end of 30 days, your stool should return to normal color and consistency. If symptoms persist beyond 30 days, see a gastroenterologist for an ultrasound. Persistent symptoms may indicate stones large enough to require medical evaluation. While you're doing this, you must adjust your diet. There is no point flushing sludge if you continue creating it. Eliminate refined carbohydrates. No white bread, no white rice, no pastries, no sugary snacks. These drive cholesterol production and worsen bile chemistry. Replace them with vegetables, whole grains in moderation, and lean proteins. Increase healthy fat intake. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's critical. Your gallbladder needs to contract regularly to stay functional. If you eat no fat, it doesn't contract. Eat small amounts of healthy fats with every meal. Olive oil, avocado, nuts, fatty fish like salmon. 1 tablespoon of olive oil on your salad. Half an avocado with lunch, a handful of almonds as a snack. These fats stimulate gallbladder contraction and prevent stagnation. Drink at least 2 liters of water daily. Not coffee, not tea, not juice. Plain water. Your bile needs water to stay liquid. Dehydration is one of the fastest ways to create sludge. Carry a water bottle. Set reminders if necessary. Hydration is non-negotiable. Add bitter greens to your diet. Arugula, dandelion greens, endive, radicchio. Bitter compounds stimulate bile production naturally. Eat them raw in salads or lightly steamed. 3 to 4 servings per week. Here's a case study that demonstrates this protocol. A patient named Margaret, 58 years old, came to me complaining of constant bloating and a heavy feeling after every meal. She'd been to 3 doctors. They ran blood tests, found nothing alarming, and told her it was probably irritable bowel syndrome. She tried eliminating gluten, eliminating dairy, tried probiotics, digestive enzymes. Nothing helped. The bloating persisted. I ordered an ultrasound. It showed biliary sludge. No stones yet, but thick, echogenic material in her gallbladder. I explained the vinegar protocol. She was skeptical. She said, "That's it? Vinegar?" I told her to try it for 30 days. She did. She also cleaned up her diet, cut out the processed carbs she'd been eating for breakfast, added healthy fats, drank more water. By day 10, she reported the bloating was 50% better. By day 21, it was 90% gone. At the 6-week follow-up ultrasound, the sludge had cleared. Her gallbladder appeared normal. She continued the maintenance protocol, 1 dose of vinegar every morning, and remained symptom-free for the entire year I followed her case. That is not a miracle. That is physiology. When you support biochemistry with the right inputs, your body clears the sludge. Your gallbladder functions normally. You avoid surgery. You avoid chronic digestive dysfunction. You avoid becoming another statistic. Now, if you are currently taking medication for acid reflux, specifically proton pump inhibitors, do not start this protocol without discussing it with your doctor. Apple cider vinegar increases stomach acid. PPIs decrease stomach acid. They work in opposite directions. You may need to adjust your medication dosage under medical supervision. Never stop a prescribed medication based on anything in this video. If you have a history of stomach ulcers, esophagitis, or severe acid reflux, start with a very dilute dose. 1 teaspoon of vinegar in a full glass of water. Monitor your response. If you experience burning or pain, stop immediately. This protocol is for biliary sludge, not active gastrointestinal inflammation. If you have diabetes, monitor your blood sugar when starting this protocol. Apple cider vinegar can lower blood sugar levels. That's generally beneficial, but if you're taking diabetes medication, it may enhance the drug's effect and require dosage adjustment. Work with your prescribing physician. How old are you? Write it in the comments. I want to see which age group makes up the majority of our viewers, because it will directly shape what I cover in future videos. This channel exists to give you information the system won't provide, information that keeps you functional, independent, and out of operating rooms. The healthcare industry does not profit from you solving this at home. There is no revenue in teaching you about biochemistry. There is enormous revenue in removing your gallbladder. The surgery costs between $10,000 and $20,000. The hospital makes money. The surgeon makes money. The anesthesiologist makes money. You lose an organ. You develop chronic diarrhea because bile now drips continuously into your intestine instead of being released in controlled amounts. You may develop fat malabsorption. You may develop vitamin deficiencies. And nobody mentions those consequences during the surgical consent process. I have seen patients post-cholecystectomy who can no longer eat a normal meal without running to the bathroom. I have seen patients develop chronic abdominal pain that's harder to diagnose because the gallbladder is gone and can no longer be blamed. I have seen patients regret that surgery because nobody told them there was an alternative. Your gallbladder is not a disposable organ. It serves a function. It regulates bile release. It prevents bile from damaging your intestine. It supports fat digestion and fat-soluble vitamin absorption. You need it. And in most cases of biliary sludge, you can keep it functional with simple interventions. This is serious, but it is solvable. You are not helpless in front of your own biology. You can flush that sludge. You can restore normal bile flow. You can avoid surgery. It requires understanding and discipline. It requires consistency with the protocol, but it works. If this video helped you, send it to someone you care about, a parent, a friend, someone who's been complaining about bloating or discomfort after meals. You may have just given them a real chance to avoid gallbladder surgery. Subscribe to Dr. Waterling. Hit that like button. We're building something here that matters. Real information, real solutions, no pharmaceutical sponsorships, no surgical bias, just physiology and truth. Your gallbladder is not your enemy. It is a signal light. It is telling you that biochemistry is off. Listen to it, fix it, and you'll be functional for decades to come.